Hello everyone, before we dive into today's video, I just briefly wanted to go through what the achievement plan is for Tomb Raider 2 Remastered, kind of just like I did for the first game when we tackled the remastered version a couple of months ago. It still feels surreal to say Tomb Raider 2 Remastered. I would never have imagined that literally the day I turn 30 I'll start working on Tomb Raider 2 Let's Play again, but with a fresh coat of paint. It's kind of an incredible feeling. So to begin with, first I'm gonna just briefly take us through where we are with Tomb Raider 1 Remastered, trophy-wise or achievement-wise, and then to take us through what the plan is for Tomb Raider 2. So, to begin with, in Tomb Raider 1 Remastered, we have altogether unlocked 99 trophies or achievements or what have you. There are 67 as part of the core Tomb Raider 1, and then there are 32 as part of the unfinished business. We achieved this via 3 playthroughs of the core game and 1 playthrough of the unfinished business, although I did 2 repeat playthrough of the Return to Egypt level just to get all the crocodile kills, but as far as achievements go, you don't need to do this, 1 playthrough is enough, right? Now something similar is going to be the case for Tomb Raider 2. There are overall 89 achievements as part of the Tomb Raider 2 package. 66 of those are part of the core Tomb Raider 2. Now, there are essentially 2 kinds of achievements I'd like to take a look at. One is just level-specific achievements. These are achievements for activities that are tied to a particular level or to a particular set of levels, or that can be only completed in some situations in certain levels, sometimes only in just the one in the game, right? So what I mean by that is that by the time we finish our first playthrough, we will have unlocked all 62 level-specific achievements, plus 1 that is tied to the entire playthrough, and that's souvenirs from the globe. Take every collectible item in a single walkthrough. So since I'm doing 100% kind of Let's Plays, showing where all the secrets, enemies and goodies are, this is something that will unlock naturally. So by the time we finish our first playthrough, we will have 63 achievements. Now, there are 3 more achievements missing, and these are part of the sort of playthrough achievements. They are not tied to any specific situation or any specific level. These are achievements you will unlock for the way you play the game, in case you maintain that way and essentially reach the level exit, right? Thankfully, this time around, for Tomb Raider 2, there is no Hardy Raider achievement, which would prevent us from using medpacks. In Tomb Raider 1 it was manageable, but in Tomb Raider 2, oh boy. The enemies shoot back, let me just say that much. Now, it's possible, absolutely, it's incredibly difficult. I did it for retro achievements. I don't want to go through that again. I'm happy to use medpacks, as are the developers giving the rules of the New Game Plus mode, but a bit later about that. So, in our second playthrough, I'm gonna again combine I only play for sport, still achievement, and very hard-boiled achievement. So these are essentially the counterparts of Tomb Raider 1's I only play for sport and hard-boiled. That means we'll have to finish the game in 6 hours using only Lara's pistols. This is a match made in heaven. You know, I was not entirely confident about this back when in February I recorded this video for Tomb Raider 1 achievement plan, because I thought, okay, using pistols, that's gonna increase our time, and whilst that is true, it also encourages more of a pacifist run through the levels, just ignoring as many enemies as possible, and was a really fun challenge. I managed to pull it off for Tomb Raider 1 in 2.5 hours and 1 minute. It couldn't be 2.5 hours exactly, no sir. That minute just broke me. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. Feel free to check out the video in the playlist. I'm gonna do essentially the same thing for Tomb Raider 2. So this time we have 6 hours as opposed to 5 hours, meaning the game is expected to be longer. I'm also not sure how generous the 6 hours are. I feel like Tomb Raider 2 is way longer than Tomb Raider 1 and bigger and more amazing in my opinion. So we'll see how I'll do, but I still feel 6 hours is a generous enough time because I know of some really cool glitches we can take advantage of. Like I said, it's gonna be a blast. And for our third playthrough, and sort of the fourth playthrough specific achievement, that's gonna be starring one more time, beat the game on New Game Plus. I'm really happy with the way this video turned out for Tomb Raider 1, where I did no commentary New Game Plus kind of playthrough through the game, just as a ultimate immersive experience, something you play in the background to help you relax with no commentary whatsoever. So really, it's a great feeling that after we unlocked every level-specific achievement, after we did the pistols-only time trial, doing just the New Game Plus and not having to think about any other achievement is an absolutely amazing reward. Now, in case 3 playthroughs sound like a lot of work to you guys, and you know, I don't blame you, not everyone wants to spend as much time as I do with these games. You can absolutely combine I only play for sport still, very hard-boiled, and starring one more time achievements into one playthrough. This has been done before by people, for example, Axelmania channel, amazing channel, I highly recommend you check it out, or maybe you already know it. This guy essentially described his Tomb Raider 1 and Tomb Raider 2 Remastered Platinum journey, where he combined these 3 types of achievements together. It reinforced what I already thought, that combining them is a very bad idea, but he pulled through, he did it, he deserves the recognition. But let me put it like this, I would much rather have 3 fun playthroughs than just 1 fun and 1 tedious and boring playthrough, if that makes sense. So that's where I'm coming from, but your opinion of course might differ. So in case you feel up for it, it's something I've never done. I think I could do it, but it would imply missing out on a lot of content in the New Game Plus mode and not 100%ing it, and that to me is unforgivable. I'm a completionist first and foremost. So it would also mean, you know, not tackling every single enemy encounter on the New Game Plus difficulty. I'm curious to see how tough they will be. I also want to know, since there will be no medpack pickups, there will be a reward as part of getting all 3 secrets, but not strictly pickups. That means that the pickups will be different and more ammo focused in Tomb Raider 2 New Game Plus. And doing it with time trial and pistols only would just mean skipping out on this content and not exploring the New Game Plus mode fully. So I'm not gonna do that, but again, if you're up for the challenge, check out Axelmania's video and you'll see how he tackled it, and you might do that as well if you're up for it. So that's it, you have 3 playthroughs to look forward to. My usual 100% Let's Play, where we are gonna unlock 63 achievements. Then I'm gonna do sort of like I did it before for Tomb Raider 1. It's not gonna be full commentary, just seldom commentary, 6 hours time trial with pistols only, and then, well, hopefully, I'm kind of trying to aim at roughly 4 hours, maybe 4.5 most. We'll see how I'll do. And then finally, we'll do New Game Plus, no commentary, 1 massive video, okay? So this is what you have to look forward to. I hope this was easy to understand, not too confusing. And you know what? I'm not gonna delay this any longer. Let's dive into Tomb Raider 2 Remastered and Lara's home. So hello and welcome everyone to Let's Play Tomb Raider 2 Remastered, starring Lara Croft. This is 115 speaking. Finally, this is it. We're in the main menu, a lovely shade of jade. It's really interesting because in the previous patch versions, you would always start out in the Tomb Raider 1 menu, and you have to switch to the game you wanted, but finally they patched it, where the game files remember what was the last played game, which is simply awesome, so it thrusts you directly into the game you want to play. So, first things first, in case you're completely new here, this Let's Play will focus on killing all enemies, getting all secrets, all pickups, and also unlocking all the achievements. Feel free to scroll back to my achievements plan in case you skipped it, in case you are interested in how exactly I'll go about doing this via 3 separate playthroughs. For now, let's explore what the main menu has to offer. Well, nothing has really changed in between the games. It is still the same EULA and credits options in the extras. You can set the volume levels, the language, the subtitles, of course, on for those who might not understand. Honestly, even those of us who are not hard of hearing, it's sometimes tricky to see what the characters are talking about in the classic Tomb Raider cutscenes, so I recommend the subtitles no matter where you're coming from. These are the sound levels I have on for the purposes of this Let's Play. Now, as it pertains to controls, in case you haven't seen my Tomb Raider 1 video where I go essentially explain this, you can enable walk to action. This will mean that if you're a couple of centimeters away from a pickup, Lara will sort of immersively walk over to it and pick it up. This is directly taken from Tomb Raider 4 and 5, right? However, I prefer to disable it because without it you pick up items much faster. Lara will just teleport to the pickup. So it really just depends on personal preference. I like that it's an optional toggle. Then, action indicators. When you're new to Tomb Raiders, I do recommend enabling this. You will see an icon of Lara's gloved hand appearing over pickupable items and interactable objects. So if you're new to the games, new to the engine, this goes along a great help. It used to be a question mark before the patch 1.02. Since 1.02 and 1.03, which is the patch at the time of me recording, it's now Lara's hand. Although I love the icon, I'm not happy about its placement. Then, you can also invert the camera movement either vertically or horizontally. I actually used to use the vertical one for a time before they patched it, and now when you have 10 controls, we are back to the original look button control scheme. It makes sense if you were around shortly after the release. And finally, you can also switch over to so-called modern controls. Now, full disclaimer, I'm gonna be doing my Let's Plays in the original tank controls. Those are ingrained in my DNA, I'm used to them. I wouldn't be quite as proficient using the modern controls, and also what I think is a bit of a shame in the modern controls, although I do get it, as they were inspired by the Legend Anniversary Underworld trilogy, you will miss out on a couple of Lara's moves, like backflips, side flips, unless you have your pistols unholstered. And this just limits Lara's, I think, flashiness in terms of showing off her acrobatics. But if you just absolutely cannot stand the classic controls, it's a good alternative. There are many people who prefer this, so feel free what works out for you. But as I'm not proficient in modern controls, I'm gonna be giving you advice and prompts on how to control the game using tank controls. And finally, what I'm really happy about, you can fully customize the controls, well, to a certain degree. So here they are. This is the control scheme I used for Tomb Raider 1 Let's Play, keeping in mind I will want to keep it for Tomb Raider 2 and 3. So, I'm using the directional keys on the keyboard to move, I'm using the left shift key to walk, I'm using the left alt to jump, left control for action, although I believe these are assigned interchangeably. Even the right shift, right alt and right control will do the same. I'm using spacebar to unholster or holster weapons. In case you don't have a numpad, you will need to find some alternative, but I like using my right pinky finger to just press the num 0. Then I'm using the slash next to the directional keys for roll. You need it as close as possible, I think, to the directional buttons to make it more convenient and flexible. I'm just using my index finger to press it whenever I'm moving. Then, for the purposes of flare, now this is strange because I remember assigning it to the C key, but anyway, let's do that. So C will draw out the flare. I would actually prefer a slash I have on my keyboard, but this input I'm now pressing it is not recognized. So flare is going to be next to my sprint and crawl buttons, which are actually here, X and Z, that are going to be relevant to Tomb Raider 3. And finally, the secondary button is sort of a secondary action that's only used in the modern control scheme, right? So no comment there, it's not something I use. So there we go, that's the controls for full transparency. Now what can you do in the main menu? You can essentially dive right into new game or also play the expansion levels even before the core Tomb Raider, you know? I like that there's an option to do this. Hopefully it does not confuse new players, whereas they'll play the expansion before they'll even play the actual core game. That could be a bit confusing. Some people prefer to, you know, have it unlockable after you beat the main game. Some people would prefer that even for all 3 entries. I disagree. Let people choose whatever they want. And then you can of course exit. If you see this exit game screen, you are playing the PC version. Consoles do not have this, right? There are different ways you press the home button and exit the application. I love the detail on Lara's passport where we can see the still unfilled emergency contacts. I would hope Winston would appear there at least. So that's essentially it, but today we are here to tackle Lara's home. So again, just like in the Tomb Raider 1, we again see a Polaroid picture. This time it's not just Lara, but it's also Winston, her faithful butler, next to her. This is his first appearance in the franchise. I'm very excited. Let's dive right in and see what's in store for us.
Welcome back. After that grueling business last year, I decided to build this assault course to hone my skills and learn some new ones.
So let me welcome you to year 2 of Lara's home, and we are accompanied by our trusty and faithful servant, Winston, who plays no major role whatsoever, yet he left a huge gap in our hearts by his absence in future entries of the franchise. So, hello Winston. Yeah, exactly. By the way, you can make this guy fart if you jump over him. Sometimes it happens. And we'll have to do that for a particular achievement in this level. So first things first, we find ourselves for the very first time outside of Lara's home in her grounds, which is super exciting. She has, well, we were able to take a sneak peek at what's outside through the windows from inside the house in the previous year. However, this time we are here, we can move around, explore freely and see how she turned the park into a full-fledged assault course. So, there is an achievement ready to raid tied with this assault course, which asks us to complete it in under a minute and 20 seconds. The thing is, if you fail a couple of things, you are going to hear Lara's unique voice lines. Now, if you are playing on a console, I think this applies to Switch and PlayStation and Xbox consoles as well. Some of the lines have been removed and not yet restored, which is incredibly annoying. The reason is that publishers spoke out about Lara mentioning the D-pad, which is PlayStation specific. Apparently they were removed even from the PlayStation versions of the game. I just find that very strange. I noticed that back in Tomb Raider 1. So yeah, here on the PC you should still have all of them available. I even compared that to the original release of the game from 1998 sorry, it was 7, not 8. And the lines are here. So without further ado, let's see how Lara will judge us should we mess anything up.
No, that's not right. You need to press jump and forward together for me to clear the gap. Run back to the start and try again.
Absolutely. Upon entering this tile, the clock will reset and you can retry the assault course now. In case you are interested in a fully detailed tutorial on Lara's entire moveset, please check out my Lara's Home Tomb Raider 1 Remastered video. It's very detailed, it has all the moves, even some moves from Tomb Raider 2 that were re-implemented into Tomb Raider 1 Remastered. There are essentially only 3 new moves in Tomb Raider 2 Remastered as opposed to Tomb Raider 1 Remastered, and that's rolling during swan dives, climbing ladders, and using flares. And of course vehicles, but those are level specific and we'll get there. So, for now, let's do as Lara said and make a standing jump and mess this up.
For bigger gaps, I'll need to do a running jump. Back to the start.
Now we can go all the way to the start, but we don't care. We're not seriously tackling the assault course. I essentially just want to show you what Lara is talking about. So running jumps will cover more ground. Absolutely. Okay? Now, let's say we mess this one up.
To make that jump successfully, I need to walk back as far as possible from the edge, then take a running jump as before. Or you could walk to the edge, jump forward, and press action to make me grab the far edge.
So essentially make a running jump or a standing grabbing jump. She gave you a choice, which is really neat.
To avoid falling off the ledges, you can use the walk button. That way I'm more careful and won't step over the edge.
That's essentially an additional advice for setting her up. So if you use the walk key, you will not fall off an edge. Works quite great. There are a few exceptions where the safety walk doesn't work. We'll tackle those contextually. So we can either make a standing grabbing jump, or we can also just make a normal running jump. Good thing is, if you use the roll key, it will set Lara up perfectly for a run-up. So for example, from here, if I use the roll, and now I do run-up jump, it's the perfect setup, right? Keep this in mind. This will speed up your Tomb Raider experience quite a lot. We can see the roof of the pool in Croft Manor. This is really cool. We're gonna go there.
Okay, that was quite a tough one. You need to make a running jump and then press action for me to grab the edge. To get the run-up exactly right, walk to the edge, then tap backwards to jump back. If you run forwards from there and press jump, I'll make it just right.
So this is a running grabbing jump, so you kind of need to combine what you learned before, and since we did such a difficult jump, let's again flourish with handstand. You just need to hold the walk key upon climbing up. Again, this is all covered in my Tomb Raider 1 Lara's Home video. Now, interesting thing, to trigger this voice line, you need to stand around here, do nothing, and Lara will figure out, oh, you're stuck, let me help you.
I can climb up this wall. Just walk up to it and hold down the action button. You can then use the direction buttons to climb up, down, and side to side.
So, not only do you need to press and hold the action button, you need to press forward for Lara to grab the ladder like this. But this is very slow and unwieldy, and she does this whenever you try to do it when climbing into a ladder from water. Instead, manually press the jump key and hold action, and there you go. This is much faster and you get much higher. And again, you can move left, you can move right. I literally just swapped the directions, doesn't matter. You can move up or down. As you can see, Lara's using both her arms and her legs for this. However, if you do not have enough space, let's say like this, you can still shimmy left and right, or you can climb up or down using just her arms. As you can imagine, this is quite slower. Although, interestingly enough, if Lara is holding on with just her arms, her shimmying is faster. However, her going up and down is slower. Whereas if you're using both legs and arms, going up and down is faster, but shimmying is so much slower. So I recommend just doing it like this, okay? And that's essentially everything that pertains to ladders. Now, if you press the jump key, which is something the game doesn't tell you and is necessary for one of the later stages, you can backflip from a ladder. This is incredibly useful. And furthermore, this was originally something new to Tomb Raider 2, but it was re-implemented into Tomb Raider 1 Remastered. You could jump back, hold roll, and make a mid-air roll, right? Essential move for combat and sometimes essential for traversal, yeah? So that's essentially it. Once you're done fiddling around with ladders, you can just climb up. Now, if we mess this one up...
This set of obstacles is easiest to traverse by using my sideways jumps. Just press left or right at the same time as jump. I can jump backwards too.
I always try to reach the ladder from that slide, but it's just not meant to be. Yeah. So again, this set of obstacles, like Lara said, perfect setup for making some ordinary standing directional jumps. So this is forward. She also mentioned a backflip. When jumping forward, you can do mid-air roll. And also, when jumping backwards, you can do mid-air roll. Just like that. You cannot do mid-air rolls when jumping right or left, okay? Side flips are not mid-air rollable, which is a shame. Would be cool if you could do that and just land facing the other direction. There are a few combat situations especially where that would be useful, but oh well. Now from here, let's time this just right. Ooh, nice. And by now you know the controls of the ladder. By the way, something I haven't yet touched on, and it will be useful to keep in mind for the first level of the game. To descend down from ladders, you can just go down like this, holding down, and then at the very end you need to let go of action, right? So there isn't any descent from ladder animation, which kind of gives you the idea. How about you just let go? And of course, if you're facing much more dangerous heights, you can just let go, re-grab, let go, re-grab, and repeat. God damn it, Winston, why are you here as well? So faithful. Okay, so that's essentially it. Now, if we fall down here...
Oh dear. Back to the start if I want to beat my best time.
Yeah, just a generic line like that. Nothing more to it. Now, let's learn a bit more about traversing water, shall we? And the way we're gonna do that... Well, we were supposed to, I guess, go via this plank and then jump into the water, or drop into it. Now, go to the water surface and wait.
Swim underwater, press the jump button and the direction buttons to guide me.
And that's essentially it. Again, her instructions are not very good because she says press the jump button. I press jump button, nothing, nothing, nothing. You're supposed to hold it. That's a big difference. And now, again, I covered the swimming movement in my Tomb Raider 1 Lara's home, but you can hold the jump key and the directional moves to move Lara. You can also do roll underwater, which helps navigate more quickly after, for example, picking up an item or something like that. Now, let's stay over here and wait.
On the surface, the direction buttons move me about, and the jump button makes me dive underwater. At the edge of the pool, I can climb out by using the action button.
Right, so you can essentially move around freely on water surface, albeit very slowly. You can even go sideways, and you can also go for another dive down. You can get out of the water if you have an equal height ahead of you. By the way, this never existed in Tomb Raider 1. Water was always adjacent to surfaces one step higher. In Tomb Raider 2, they made also equal ones, with a bit of a new climbing out animation. Oh, by the way, Lara mentioned getting out of the pool. I believe these lines were supposed to be... Oh my god, those are big stutters. The lines were supposed to be implemented for the interior pool of Lara's home, not here for the Assault Course, but it seems like mid-development they repurposed it, which I find funny. You can also, this is something that didn't happen in Tomb Raider 1, you have different shallow pits underwater. So for example, here Lara will automatically transition using that animation into more of a shallow water. This is something new to Tomb Raider 2 as well. This is done automatically, you don't need to press the action key, which is simply awesome. And by now you know how to climb up a ladder quickly. And here we are actually gonna transition into shimmying using her hands only automatically and slowly climb up, but more quickly shimmy to the sides, right? And that's essentially it. Oh, and this is new. Zip lines, yay! If you had the action indicators enabled, let me just quickly test that out right now and show you what they look like. You would see Lara's hand icon, meaning you can press the action key and something will happen, yeah? That's essentially it, but let me turn them off. I do not need them and find them a bit immersion breaking. And you can just press it and hold, or you can release early, up to you. And this is where I like to do roll to finish the assault course in the best time possible. So, these are essentially all the lines Lara will say. There are some additional lines depending on how well or how poorly you will do in the assault course itself, and all your attempts are going to be recorded in this stopwatch over here. Mind you, Lara no longer carries a compass, it's a stopwatch this time, which is actually less useful because it shows the same statistics inside an actual level, but it doesn't show you the, the directions, so it's a bit underwhelming, but again, maintaining the original vision. And unfortunately, this beautiful red animated background did not make it to the remasters. No one knows why, we would all prefer it, but there we go. I guess they wanted to keep it unanimous in between the 3 games, no idea. From the menu, you can of course transition into the in-game settings, the sound and the controls that we already covered in the main menu. Talking about main menu, that's where you can return from here, or you can just directly go into the new game, right? So, messing around like this, listening to all of Lara's voice lines, we're never gonna unlock the Ready to Raid achievement. My god, Winston's getting in the way. So let me show you how best to unlock it. Using everything we've learned so far, all of Lara's advice, I'm kind of gonna show you how to get through the assault course easily in also a bit of an unintended way. Honestly, 1 minute and 20 seconds is a fairly strict requirement for new-time players, so hopefully this will be helpful. Okay. I prefer to stand on this step over here. By the way, if you were to use the walk key, Lara would walk step down, even forwards, backwards, or step up. But using side steps, she will stay on her current step. This is very useful for aligning her just right, okay? So, let's make a standing jump, transition into running jump, standing jump there, so we avoid climb up animation. And now, all about timing the grabbing jump over here. Perfect. And now, into the water we go. Remember, manually jump, hold action to grab and climb up. Using both her arms and legs, Lara will climb up faster than just using her arms. And over here, we have a really neat shortcut, like this. And let's just go directly there. Ooh, very nice. Now, I would actually like to make a stylish swan dive here, even though it's necessarily not going to result in the best time possible. Okay, oof, we've made it, awesome. And now again, since we are in water, you want to manually jump to grab the ladder, not just hold the action key or the slow animation will start, which is no help at all. And this I find tricky, to run up to the zipline, but not fall down. It means we'll have to press forward once, and then transition into walk, which slows us down, but there you have it, and now hold the zipline. You can just keep holding action and roll.
That was my best time yet.
And there we go, ready to raid. Finish the assault course in 120 or less. We have 113.8, and this kind of time will actually get recorded into this screen. I think you can have, I'm not sure, 6 or 7 different runs recorded here. By the way, the moment you leave to main menu and return to Lara's home, none of these will be recorded. It will reset again, which I just find really sad. I wish these would be recorded forever. So there we go, we are finished with the assault course. And by the way, upon leaving and exiting the menu, our time on screen will just keep increasing. We're at 136, now 137.1. So it's always 0.01.1 increase, it seems. Oh no, it's not. I guess the time we spent in the menu will transition into this. Well, that's depressing. So it's a funny bug I've encountered
Feel free to explore the rest of the house and gardens.
when not being interrupted rudely by Lara, yeah. I'm probably really gonna struggle playing the Legend game, being constantly interrupted by Zip and Alistair, I can already tell. But anyway, that is for the future. So these are just lovely gardens. I mean, let me just show you what they look like before. Again, this was beautiful to me, even at the time. Mind you, when you switch to the original graphics, keep in mind, these are the original PlayStation graphics, but with better resolution and viewing distance. However, on PC, the textures look much better and sharper, okay? And it's a bit of a shame that even the PC versions of the remasters don't switch to the original PC graphics, instead they switch to the original PlayStation graphics, so the textures look, well, not particularly sharp, let me put it like that. So it's not just my memories, I even sometimes play the originals, they actually on PC, and especially patched to widescreen, look better than what you see here. Yes, Winston, correct. So, for now, let's enter an area we only admired through a window back in Tomb Raider 1. I think we were actually admiring it from this very window on the other side and looking what's there. We could see the entranceway into this wall, but it wouldn't go further. Now we finally get to walk across this patch of grass, a little hint of a maze. I spent so much time here as a kid just walking in between these and being too scared to play the game. And here is a gate. We can kind of get a sneak peek what's behind it. There is a suggestion of a road there, but not much else. What I also like is that the skybox in the distance, in Tomb Raider 1 pre-patch version, was just the Great Wall of China skybox, which was really weird with its Asian vegetation. Here we see, you know, I guess what's presumably a Surrey English countryside. Pretty similar to the original, dare I say. But we do not actually get to leave Lara's home. We are stuck here. Prisoners for all eternity. Not a bad place to be imprisoned in, I guess. Here we have a fish fountain, which we could previously only admire via FMV, but there's no water sprouting from it. And guys, I'm not sure if you've played Power Wash Simulator, but there was a free DLC for cleaning up Lara's home released, and this just takes me back there. It's way more detailed, of course, than Tomb Raider 2, but yeah, even the fish fountain was maintained. In Tomb Raider 3, she's gonna have a horse statue here, but there's something about the fish which I really prefer. It's just this ugly, arrogant-looking fish. It makes me smile for some reason. Now, going along this path around the pool, you will find yourself at the beginning of the assault course. You know what? I'm gonna show you. I want to make sure we cover every nook and cranny of Lara's home, since this is a dedicated video. In situations like these, I really miss Tomb Raider 3's sprint. But once we finish this, we're gonna get to enjoy its benefits. And there we are on this side, okay? So let's just go back, because I would first of all like to open up the door into Lara's home, because it's gonna be necessary for a challenge and an achievement we're gonna complete. The delivery people have finally arrived, which is a reference to Lara's line from Tomb Raider 1, where she complains about the crates in the main hall, saying the delivery people haven't been yet, right? So I just find the achievement names really great and funny. Good job, devs. Okay, so there we go. First, let's press the button. I love how anyone can get inside Lara's home like this. And there's a lovely ring. Before we go inside, however, I just want to ensure we will open up this very door, because behind this door is a secret of Lara's treasury, but the key to opening it is actually in Lara's maze. Yes, very impractical. I bet Winston has a master key somewhere, right, Winston? But he's not gonna give it to us. We have to earn it. Now, since this is a remaster and we get to use the perks of photo mode, which, by the way, its interface is now in jade green. I quite like it, although I'm not sure. I think it's the same for Tomb Raider 3. But Tomb Raider 1 photo mode had this sort of bluish, purplish interface, and now it's all greenish, which I think fits the jade aesthetic of Tomb Raider 2's theme. So we can enter the maze and cheat a little by using the photo mode and taking a look like that, which I find really funny. Okay, so our objective is to reach these two Totek statues that Lara picked up from City of Wilkabamba, presumably. She just doesn't give a damn. She likes something. She's gonna culturally appropriate it. And we love her for that. She's not a truth seeker, she's a Tomb Raider. With all good and bad that it brings. Now, here is a box of flares, which is actually a new kind of equipment to Tomb Raider 2, and I'm gonna explain how that works once we get here. And inside is a button which we'll press and open up a path to the treasury. To reach this, we need to go through an underground tunnel that's connected on one end to this end over here, okay? And honestly, looking at the maze now, I always tended to hug the brick wall, but now, just looking at it like this, we're gonna enter and hug the left wall as much as we can and reach it, and do the same on the way back. I find that to be the simplest way, okay? If you ever get lost, just feel free to summon up the photo mode, although that can reduce some of the excitement. I don't recommend doing it if you're a first-time player, but I've been through this maze countless times. Okay, so I feel like I've earned a little reprieve. Okay, still hugging the left wall, there's not much else to it, and now that we encounter the brick wall, we'll just turn right immediately, and there we go, we enter the depths of darkness. Now it's really difficult to see in the remastered graphics, but we heard Lara hitting a wall. Let me play that again for you. There we go. So now, turn left, and keep running forward, and you should see a bit of light. It's easier to see in the original, again, just like in the Temple of the Cat. Oh my god, I'm such an idiot. I turned around completely. And here I am giving you advice how to overcome it. This is the hole we want. Okay. And there we are at the Totex statues. So, let's first pick up this level's only pickup. Box of flares. Yay! Wanna know something funny? You need to press action twice to really use a flare. You can kind of go back and reconsider. If you just press once, you can press the escape key. But this is a point that really annoys me, is that inside the box we clearly see 8 flares. Although they look like Nerf gun ammunition, but okay, we see 8 flares. But you only get 6 per pickup. I was actually hoping that for the remasters they would change it. But no, they wanted to maintain the original vision, I guess. But it's just really strange. This is what they look like in the original, and I complained about this back in my original Let's Play from 2014-15. That, yeah, we can see 8, but we only get 6, and this is incredibly annoying. The good thing is that each flare lasts for ages. I'm not sure if it's 30 seconds or maybe even an entire minute, I think, but they are really long-lasting, as opposed to the Tomb Raider 3 ones. So that's at least good. In Tomb Raider 3, I believe you do get 8 per pickup, but they last much shorter, okay? So by pressing the action again, we will draw it. But first of all... yeah, you know what? Let's do it like this. The moment we press this button, I'm gonna start an on-screen counter to see how long the door will be open for, so I don't want to interrupt it with menus. So instead, I'm gonna now press the flare hotkey. There we go. And press the button. Okay, the treasury door has opened, and let's go into the dark hall. Finally, we can see... If we would have access to pistols in this level, then we could also illuminate the corridor just by shooting. Again, like I did in the dark corridor in the Temple of the Cat, okay? And again, you can cover more distance more quickly if you do running jumps whilst running. But you're at the risk of, yeah, hitting a wall like that if you don't know what's up ahead. Oh my god, Winston! In a maze. Imagine being trapped with him in a maze. That's... Next time I'll have a high fever and have nightmares again, I think it's gonna be about me being trapped in this maze with Winston following me constantly, okay? Okay, so we have plenty of time. This is actually really generous now that we made it out of the maze, and we also opened up this entrance into the Croft Manor itself in advance. We'll save up even additional time, and down into the treasury we go. In Tomb Raider 3's version, there will be flares on the ground here. Oh, we just ran out. So let's see on screen how much time overall we have before the door closes. Wow, the clock ticking makes me nervous. Okay, as you can see, we still had plenty of time to spare. Now, we cannot see it right now because it's so dark, but... you know what, let me show you. There is a button here, which you need to press twice to get out, okay? But first of all, let's see what we came here for. Oh my god, delivery people have finally arrived. Check out your treasury. They really mean Lara's treasury, but here it is. Some, I presume, rare books, a carpet, the golden idol from the city of Vulcabamba, and a completely new item, which unfortunately I cannot show you in photo mode because this will happen. And under normal circumstances, in any level, we would be able to go through the weapon selection and select a flare. But in Lara's home, since weapons are disabled and non-existent, I cannot do that. So, and getting closer will cast shadow on it. This is the best way I can show it to you. I'm not sure if this is a real-world artifact. In case you guys know anything about that small statue, please let me know. She has a carpet in here. And there are a couple of these, I think African-looking statues all over the place. And no, you do not actually get to pick them up. This is what they look like in the original, much bigger actually. There's the carpet, golden idol, that weird small statue, and a personal highlight for me, the Geyer Anderson cat from the Temple of the Cat. So this is the trouble Lara went through to bring it back, and she picked it up at the end of the Temple of the Cat and brought it home. That gives us such a nice continuity between the previous level we tackled and being in Lara's home right here. Now, let me summon up another flare whilst we're here. There we go. And that's essentially it for the treasury. There's nothing you can do here other than admire all the gold. So yeah, Lara is an international thief. There's no way around it. She keeps it for herself. She's not even like Indy who says that belongs in a museum. No, she's like, I want it. That trinket belongs to me. There's something so selfishly cool about that. Okay, let's press this button twice. I think the first time the mechanism doesn't realize the door is already closed. And there we go. So now the treasury should always be open. And we've also concluded our business outside, okay? I'm not sure where Winston is. Ah, there he is, slowly catching up. But what I'd like to do is show you also the different rooms around the house. I think we can start where it all started back in Tomb Raider 1, just for a comparison, okay? And by the way, new paintings we can admire, which is really neat. And a tapestry at that. Yep, this was definitely not here in the previous year, but later about that. So, first of all, I think this mysterious door was here in Tomb Raider 1 as well. However, if we go to the music room, we see that the exercise mat has been carried away. It is no longer here. We still have the harp, and we also have the lovely piano with the notes of the Tomb Raider theme. Now, what I wonder is if I can make Lara sit on it and at least pretend to play the piano, okay? Now I wish she would extend her hands a little, but yeah, this is kind of cute. Yeah, there we go. I am definitely taking a picture of this. I wish I could frame it better, but perhaps... Yeah, there's not much I can do about this angle. In the original, the pose is now maintained. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, that's really sweet. So there we go. I remember looking out of these windows back in Tomb Raider 1, and now there's a huge garden maze, which is really cool. It kind of also gives you the idea in which section of the house you are relative to the outside assault cores, the garden maze, and that sort of thing. Now, over here is the library, and honestly, this is, in my opinion, quite the downgrade, because we had this large table with a candlestick and a window which would cast light. Now it's just dark. And over here, Lara removed a window as well. I'm not sure why they did it like this. And there used to be pillows and a book on the city of Wilkabamba here. Now we can actually admire the assault course, right? The repurposed bug. And the fireplace is still out, unfortunately. But I really like what they're gonna do with this place in Tomb Raider 3. But as far as Tomb Raider 2 goes, I think it's rather weak. I do not like it. But that was the most boring part of the house. How about we go to the dark attic, okay? And I think the attic is a good place for me to explain the flare controls, okay? So... Oh, I heard that, Winston. For now, let's draw a flare, and I'm gonna explain a couple of things. The attic, by the way, is completely empty. There is some junk, or perhaps artifacts covered by tapestry, which I never realized is supposed to be cloth in the original graphics. I thought it's marble or something like that. And a small window overlooking a different part of the assault course, and a balcony, which we can reach, but I will not. I'll explain later. So, in case you want to get rid of a flare, press the hotkey again, and Lara will do a throw. Or you can also re-pick it up via incredibly annoying slow animation. I'm not sure why it's slower than picking up normal items. You can also press the holster unholster weapon key, and Lara will just drop it. In a normal level, she would unholster her pistols or any other gun. This would result in a drop. You can do the same in midair, which will cause certain bounce physics on the flare, which was quite impressive at the time. And you can also use the flare hotkey to throw in midair, okay? On a couple of occasions, it's useful to scout what's up ahead, or also what's in a deep pit, if anything, okay? So you can do this anytime in midair, on the ground. You can even do it underwater. And you know what? Talking about underwater, I'm gonna show you what I mean by that. Whoa, it's dark. Can we make it? Yep. By the way, do not jump here. There are steps above, which will make Lara hit her head every time you try to make a jump. It's a bit annoying. and it's gonna make a particular time challenge in Tomb Raider 3 all the more difficult. Now Winston went into our bedroom, presumably to clean up Lara's mess. So this is a new area to Tomb Raider 2. It will be even more beautiful in Tomb Raider 3. We can see the zipline part of the assault course now. And just look at the bed. In the original, it looked kind of hard, right? Because it was a perfect rectangle, a block. But now, look at the ruffled, velvety sheets and the pillows. My god, the pillows just look so soft and welcoming. Okay, now the fireplace is out, but we're gonna see it relit later in the game. And also there's a mysterious door, but this time with the photo mode, we cannot peek behind closed doors like we could in Tomb Raider 1, unfortunately. And again, we'll have to wait...
No.
Yes, Lara, much later till the game to see what's behind. There is a key that unfortunately Lara does not have in her inventory. When it will be the right time to use it, she will spawn with it in her inventory, okay? But it's not now. It's actually a gun cupboard where she keeps a shotgun and lots of ammunition. Now you can probably glitch onto the balcony, but I'm not going to do that. And you will also, with guns, be able to shoot through these windows later on. And this is Lara's bathroom. Winston, I heard that again. I really like what they did with this place. So you can see this kind of wooden cupboard. What's a bit of a shame is that mirrors do not have reflections. I mean, come on guys, even the save crystals in the original PlayStation 1 version had proper reflections. Why is it a problem to pull off here? I do not understand. Anyway, cute toothbrush and presumably intake for hot and cold water. This is a bit dark in the remastered, so the toilet, and there are two of them. Interesting. I was never clear why there are two, and if Lara and Winston share some quality detox time together there. I have no idea. This is a shower. It's gonna play an important role later on in the game. And a bath. And you can just fool around. I think this is really cute. So yeah, it's just this... In this blocky world of classic Tomb Raiders, I think they did an excellent job coming up with a bathroom. It is really cute. And now... That's essentially it for the upstairs. There are many more unexplored rooms. We still don't know what's behind this door or the one on the other side, right? So it's kind of left up to our imagination, but this is still pretty good. Now, let's go down the stairs, which I horribly failed to do. And I'm gonna show you essentially what is down here. And you know what? I think Winston has been getting in our way quite a lot. So first of all, you remember this used to be a gym, right? Now it's repurposed into a ballroom, which is funny because in Tomb Raider 1, Lara says this used to be the ballroom, but I turned it into my personal gym. What do you think? And now she reconsidered. I think Lara is a very volatile person. She changes her mind all the time. So yeah, now we're back to the ballroom with some amazing music. It just warms my heart to hear this. And sorry, I'm gonna talk through it. I'm not gonna just, you know, stare here for 3 minutes doing nothing. But we can enjoy this at least. Now, over on that side, which you will be quite familiar with in case you played the previous game, is the pool, okay? And again, Lara mentioned pressing the action key to get out of the pool back in the assault course. I think the lines were originally applicable to this pool over here. And now we also have a jumping board, but it's not bouncy at all. It's just hard as a stone. There you have it. So again, for full swimming controls, check out my Tomb Raider 1 video. Nothing has changed here, but there's an addition of flares, so we can absolutely draw them in water, and we can drop them using the flare hotkey. Okay, just like that. You cannot actually drop them using the weapon holster and holster key, but you can repick them up. And one of the weapons we'll find in our journey will be an underwater harpoon gun. So if you carry a flare and draw a harpoon gun, Lara will drop the flare. But since we don't have a harpoon gun, there doesn't seem to be an animation to drop it when I'm hammering the weapon holster and holster key. And that's essentially it. And you can also, you know, carry the flare as you're on water surface, and you again get to drop it using the flare throw key. And it will slowly descend into the water, which I find incredibly cool. And once it hits the ground, you will be able to pick it up. But it takes a while, it is very slow. You cannot pick it up as it's, well, I want to say midair, I mean up in the water. And you know what, I'm not gonna pick it up there. I'm actually worried we're gonna corner glitch into oblivion, so I'm just gonna leave the flare over there. So yeah, that's all the flare basics covered. There are a couple of more things to keep in mind. For example, do not use flares when climbing ladders, because Lara will always prioritize dropping flares as opposed to grabbing ladders. which can result in so-called flare deaths. Another cool change in the remasters is, well, look at this. In the originals, it was just this blank ceiling giving you a hint of light shining through. And now it's fully transparent. You can make out the cloudy weather, and also you can actually see the remains of the Croft banner up in the distance. That is so cool. Oh my god, Winston's coming. No. I'm getting scared. So, Winston, why won't you just follow us? Winston, that's the third time this happened, and none of those times was helpful. We need you to do it for the fourth time for an achievement, okay? Can you please keep your flatulence in check? Winston? Oh my god, this is gonna take a while, isn't it? I mean, let's see how long it will take for us to get him into the kitchen and prepare us some tea that's not actually gone cold from following us around the place. Now, interesting thing is we're gonna enter the kitchen via this mysterious door that was previously closed in TR1, is that if you approach this door from this side, it will open up leading to the assault course. Honestly, it would have been way more useful to open up from both sides, but there you have it. It only opens from this one, so the mystery is resolved. I mean, for security reasons, it makes sense you'd want to open the door from the inside and not just let anyone in, okay? Now, for the kitchen itself, I love what they did with the place, because these used to be just 2D textures, and now they're full-on 3D. Just some dried herbs and stuff like that. Maybe for tea, maybe for spices. It's really up to your imagination. Then, this thing fascinated me even back in the original. And yeah, it's kind of this unmovable object. If you try to jump into it, this will happen, right? So these are kind of cool. They just remastered it. Looks exactly as I remember it, but better, which was kind of Saber and Aspir's mission with these remasters. Also, I'm so glad I can finally recognize what the utensils on the wall are. Before, it was just these unremarkable pots and pans. Again, on PC it looked way sharper and better than it does displayed here. But here you can make out that those are actually for salt and pepper, and that there are some homemade preservatives, presumably some alcohol for cooking, that sort of thing. It is really cute. God damn it, this makes me want to play Sims. Okay, so here is the world's largest sink. You know how people sometimes bathe their babies in sinks when they're really small and the sinks are really high? Well, you could bathe Lara in this sink. It is that huge. But then again, how would you go about making a sink in a square-based game like this, right? Now, for literally the top of the iceberg, the pinnacle of Lara's kitchen, the walk-in freezer. Actually, here in the remastered, we can see that this logo was changed to R. Audroni El Giovanni Italia. So I understand that the Italia is reference to an Italian chapter of the game, where we'll be later on, one of my favorites. But Audroni and Giovanni, should that mean anything? Is there a reference to anyone particular? I'm not sure about that. Anyway, we can even climb up here and get those proteins up for Lara. I actually prefer how these look like in the original. I don't know, there's something way more delicious about this texture than this one, but this is of course way more realistic, right? Okay. Winston, could you please check the quality of the meat? There's something very unnerving about hearing a grandpa clock and see Winston walking towards you in complete silence and with that intense stare. By the way, this is the Winston I'm used to. Okay, so, but let's turn him into a fine vintage Winston. Now, the achievement specifically says we need to do it after he farts. Let's just disregard the fact he already farted at least 3 times. The way you can do that to make him fart, or make it more likely, is to jump over him. And one of those sounds is gonna be a fart. Eventually. Winston? Okay, we're gonna need to give him some space. I never believed I would say something like this in a Tomb Raider game, but farting makes this achievement more difficult. Okay. Ah, that's the sound we want to hear. Oh, no, don't go out, don't go out. Come in, come in. Okay, and now, will that have worked? Pretty please? Thank you, crime and punishment. Lure the bottle into the fridge, wait for him to make a bad sound, and, well, I assume close him in. We no longer hear the pottery. What's happening? Winston, are you alright? And this, my friends, is our fine vintage Winston. You know what? We just gotta take a picture with him. Let's ensure that unlike Winston, Lara has the proper outfit for this. Okay, I think this is essentially what we're looking for. Lara, you can at least pretend you're happy about what you've just done. Okay. And I think this is also a perfect opportunity for me to thank my fine vintage Winston, Akira Fonk's Mind. Thank you so much for supporting the channel in this way. Let's take a picture of many awesome adventures together. Okay, now, I guess I would like to go out before he will thaw out. If you open the door, it's only a matter of time before... see, he snaps out of it. No, we need to close it again. Okay, we're safe from the demon of the mists. And yeah, that's essentially it. Everything for Lara's home. And yeah, many people would have you believe that there are only these 3 achievements to unlock here. But I found out how to unlock 2 additional ones, if you don't mind a little corner glitching, because I also want to show you the roof of the place, which has been significantly improved over the original version. And since it's something I did in my original LP, I need to do it here. So by now, you probably know how the corner glitching works. You need to align Lara in a specific angle, so that side of her body will face into a wall, like that, and using just ordinary standing jumps in place will eventually make her face into a wall. The game will realize, oh, this is not a legal position to Lara be in, and it will just throw her at the very top safely. Let's just not fall from here. That would be an end to our adventure very quickly. And there we go. Actual roof tiles. This is amazing. Before, it was floorboards on the roof because the devs thought, no one's going to be here anyway. Also, strangely enough, and I specifically remember this, and it seems they fixed it for the original graphics, there was this patch of red textures over here. And they probably fixed this already to be more consistent, even in the original graphics, so I appreciate that. It was a bit of a mystery in the original LP. And also, they've added these chimney textures. Now, if the official patch notes are to be believed, this is apparently a new addition, these chimney textures, okay? They seem to have changed that rather recently in, I think, patch 1.02 or 1.03. But you guys can let me know. Thing is, I haven't really played Tomb Raider 2 up until the patches were out, okay? I mean, Tomb Raider 2 Remastered. So, we can just fool around. I think we can also use this as an opportunity to get to the balcony of Lara's bedroom, and from that we would need to jump down, possibly take some minor damage. But I have a mind to unlock 2 achievements. So this right here is the balcony. I believe in my Tomb Raider 3 Let's Play I fell down here and died and broke Lara's neck, which was pretty damn funny. Oh dear, this is all slippery. Yeah, I'm worried there is no safe way to get on top of Lara's balcony. And that definitely was not what I had in mind. But let's go to a reasonably high point of the roof, like this one. It's not the highest, but it's, I think, the best one for the achievements I have in mind. And now, what I'd like to do... Oh, Lara, please cooperate. Thank you. Is essentially to make a swan dive there and also demonstrate a new move in the process, okay? So, we have achievements called 1010 and 2020, which involve Lara making either one roll or even 2 rolls as she's swan diving safely into water. And this, my friends, is, I believe, the first place in the game where you can do this. Now, rolling during swan dives is something that was not in original Tomb Raider, not even re-implemented into Tomb Raider 1 Remastered. But Tomb Raider 2 had this, and it's kind of an obscure move that no one really mentions in the game or in the game manual. So you know what? Let's just do it. The moment you swan dive, let's do running jump, press the walkie to make Lara swan dive, and just keep holding the roll key. And this will make Lara do somersaults as she's falling into water. There we go. Perform somersault dive into the water. Perform double somersault dive into the water.
Move me about.
Lara.
The jump button makes me dive in the water. At the edge of the pool, I can climb out by using the action button.
Lara, I know you just want to make yourself useful, but come on, this is time to celebrate achievement unlocks.
Oh dear.
So,
back to the start if I want to beat my best time.
okay, I didn't know that would happen. I think Lara has had enough of me and she just wants to take over, so I think this is really my cue to end, and she wants to end this before I'll kill her off in Lara's home. So, my friends, this is how you get all 5 achievements. I hope you had a blast exploring Lara's home's grounds, the changed interior, fooling around with Winston for the first time. And yeah, essentially you don't even need to fully finish the second somersault dive, you just need to initiate the animation and it's enough for the achievement to unlock. But if you don't feel comfortable, corner glitching on the roof, are struggling with it, do not worry, both achievements can be easily gotten with another achievement in the very first level of the game, which actually at the time of you watching this video is out already. So my friends, thank you for sticking around. Yeah, let me know what you thought, and I'm gonna see you in the Great Wall of China. Hold on a sec, Zelgar is from future here, editing late into the night. As I was recording, I was so eager to start playing and recording a Let's Play for the Great Wall level that I completely forgot to thank you, my patrons, so let me fix that straight away. Blank Goopel, Mick, Severin Drax, Marek Malec, and Katie Danger, thank you so much for being my Winstons, and as we've seen today, for following Lara wherever she goes, loyally bringing her the refreshment she needs after all that exercise. A big thank you to my caretaker Winston, Michael McConkey. You have your work cut out for you, sir, taking care of Lara's scrapes and bruises, and especially since they released that bloodied Lara outfit in the photo mode. Next, I would like to give very big thank you to my veteran Winston, Andrea Paviglianiti. Thank you so much for your support and for keeping Lara's new and expanded estate safe. Or perhaps keeping other intruders and people safe from injuring themselves in her assault course. And finally, I would like to give a very special thank you to my one and only fine vintage Winston, Akira Foxmind. Thank you so much for supporting me in this way, and we finally found your walk-in freezer in Lara's expanded home. I hope it's cozy, because, Winston, you are gonna be stuck there for at least another year until Lara comes back from her second adventure. And thank you to all of you watching and sharing your comments, your observations, sometimes even posting questions that I am able to answer and help out. You guys sharing your hints and tips makes me a better Tomb Raider, and in turn I can make these guides better to help more and more people, which is simply awesome and makes the Tomb Raider community stronger as a result. I guess that will result in us seeking a bigger and bigger challenge. We'll see. The future looks bright given the popularity of the classic Tomb Raiders. And also, if you like these kinds of videos, feel free to check out my Patreon. You can either join for free, or you can also support me like the Patreon members I just gave shout out to. It would mean the world to me, and it would allow me to essentially take more time off my work and spend more time doing these videos. In case you do decide to support, know that you'll have my undying thanks, and I'll give a shout out to you in every single one of my videos. I also appreciate you just watching. In case you cannot do that, I do not in any shape or form feel entitled for that. Whether you're my Patreon or a regular viewer, you have so much to look forward to. Thank you again, and the Great Wall of China video is already out. So what are you doing here? Go and check it out.